Principle 2. Use visual strategies and environmental supports. What would you do if all the visual supports were removed from your life? No road signs, calendars, clocks, store signs, no men and women bathroom signs, no labels. What would you do? Visual strategies and environmental supports take auditory information or inherent expectations and place them into a visual picture for the child to understand. There are many different types of visual and environmental supports that are considered to be effective. These include visual schedules, calendars, task organizers, and visual-based management systems. They can also include visually based environmental supports, such as labeling the environment, creating boundary settings, and using color coding. The most important concept to remember when incorporating visuals into the home and school settings is to actually teach the child how to use them. For instance, a child can be in a room that is organized through color coding, taped boundary settings, and that uses a visual schedule, as well as task organizers. But if a child doesn't know what any of this means, it's all pointless. When creating visual supports, identify activities or times of the day when the child experiences discomfort or when you see more behavioral problems. These are the first areas you should consider when teaching supports. You can embed multiple strategies in the environment, however, you should limit the number of strategies that you are directly teaching. Select one or two of the visuals and place a heavy emphasis on these until the child appears to understand. How do you know if the child understands? You can always risk removing the strategy from the environment to see what happens. However, we don't recommend you doing that. Instead, monitor the child's behavior, as well as the child's comfort level within that environment. These are two things that should be clear indicators. When creating visual and environmental supports, it's also important to consider how often and for what length of time a child will be using the strategy. Creating visual strategies can be time-consuming. If the child needs the strategy for a single event or for when something unanticipated occurs in a day, it may not be necessary to open up the computer and print and laminate the final product. For this child, a hand-drawn support or handwritten schedule might work just as well. However, if you've identified a support that the child will use on a daily basis, it's important to invest the time and energy in creating a visual strategy that will be durable, meaningful, and effective. Remember, any visual that you create for the child belongs to that child. It needs to move with the child when they leave your classroom. Furthermore, we recommend making more than one copy of any visual that you make, as items tend to get lost. There are also many tools available to use when making visual strategies and environmental supports. You'll have to decide what will work for you and your student or child. Focus on limiting the amount of pure auditory information that's given. Remember, think in pictures, teach in pictures.